The Hudson River Rivalry returned last night when the league-leading 50-21-4 New York Rangers took on the 36-35-4 New Jersey Devils, who are hoping to fight for a playoff spot. These two rivals have no lost love for each other, as their playoff series last year in the first round went to 7 games and the Devils came out on top. In addition, in their last meeting at the Garden, Matt Rempe had a huge hit on Jonas Siegenthaler that ended up with Matt Rempe being suspended for 4 games. So, in only true hockey fashion, this game started off with a line brawl. And at the beginning, when I saw that Jimmy Vesey, Barclay Goodrow, and Matt Rempe were starting the game, I was a little bit confused, but my confusion was answered pretty quickly and 2 seconds after the puck dropped, because those 3 guys, Jacob Trouba and Keandre Miller, got into a fight with Chris Tierney, Curtis McDermott, Curtis Lazar, Kevin Ball, and John Marino. Now, the fight for the most part was 50-50 in most pairings, except Curtis McDermott probably got a slight upper hand on Matt Rempe, and Keandre Miller completely knocked the hell out of John Marino. After the fight, everybody was ejected except Jimmy Vesey and Curtis Lazar because they dropped their gloves first. This was definitely a game of periods, as the first and third periods went to the Rangers and the second went to the Devils. Now, there were definitely some more penalties in that first period, as Jack Roslovic picked up a penalty of his own 55 seconds into the game. And then less than 5 minutes into the game, Dawson Mercer decided to start a fight with Will Cooley, and at the end of that, Will Cooley got a 5-minute major for fighting and a 2-minute minor for boarding, and on the other side, Dawson Mercer got a 10-minute misconduct, a 5-minute major for fighting, and a 2-minute minor for instigating. After that, Artemi Panarin scored the first goal of the game for the Rangers as he lasered a shot over the left shoulder of Kaapo Kähkönen. The Devils thought the Rangers were offsides on that play and decided to challenge, but they failed, much to the Rangers fans' delight. They got a second goal song, and the Rangers went on a second power play. Now, they did fail to convert on that power play, but later on in that period, as another power play expired, Alexis Lafreniere scored to put the Rangers up 2-0, and the Rangers ended that dominant period with 15 shots on goal to the Devils' 4. The second period was a completely different story for the Rangers, who trailed 3-2 after Andre Palat, Brendan Smith, and Nico Hischier scored to give the Devils a lead, despite only having 12 shots on goal to the Rangers' 26 at the end of that period. The Rangers struggled with turnovers and defending in their own zone in that period, and I asked Peter Laviolette about what he would like the team to improve from that second period going forward.
What specifically about the second period would you hope that the team changes going forward?
It wasn't a volume thing. It was just face-off goal and details defensively. It was probably it's probably 5 chances. They scored on 3 of them, but the 3 of them I felt like we could have been better. We could have controlled what happened in the second period by making better decisions. And against New Jersey, you have to do that. They have high speed and high skill, and if you give them opportunities, they'll make you pay, and they did. And so there was a reset after the second period, and our guys went over and fought hard for that game in the third period.
In the third period, though, the Rangers were able to take back the momentum as Kaapo Kähkö had a huge breakaway goal with 2 Devils defenders right on his tail, right over the shoulder of, get this, Kaapo Kähkönen. And it's not every day you get to hear that Kaapo Kähkö scored a goal on Kaapo Kähkönen. Now, apparently, they're also from the same town, which is pretty interesting. Later on in that period, Alexis Lafreniere had a huge opportunity to give the Rangers a lead right on the left side of the net. It was a point-blank shot, but he decided to pass it to Artemi Panarin, who was being denied the pass, and the puck inevitably ended up getting poked away. This is just another example of how the Rangers get a little bit too passive and a little too picky sometimes, especially in recent years. The Rangers, though, took advantage of another power play later in the third period where Mika Zibanejad took a really hard shot at Kaapo Kähkönen, and that actually took out Kaapo Kähkönen for a little bit. Now, the implications of that are that obviously the Devils get a little bit more time to regroup for their penalty kill, but the Rangers' first power play unit also gets a little bit more time on the ice, and the Rangers indeed were able to capitalize on that as Chris Kreider was able to deflect a shot into the goal to give the Rangers the lead 4-3, and that ended up being the game-winning goal. Now, although the Rangers did win 4-3, they did struggle on the faceoff in this game, only winning 43% of faceoffs. Not something you really expect when Vincent Trocheck's on your team. And speaking of Vincent Trocheck, he actually had the opportunity to put the dagger in the game and give the Rangers a 5-3 lead late in the third period as A rebound from a shot from Artemi Panarin went straight to Vincent Trocheck. It was point blank right on the left side of the net, except the puck was bouncing. He couldn't handle it, and the shot was low, resulting in Kaapo Kakkonen being able to save it. Another interesting takeaway from this game is that the Rangers were able to win without the pairing of Jacob Trouba and Keandre Miller, both of whom were obviously ejected at the beginning of the game for the line brawl. Now, this might give some credit to those fans online who are calling for this pairing to be split up, calling for Miller to be paired with Braden Schneider, calling for Trouba to be paired with either Zach Jones or Eric Gustafsson. It remains to be seen if Peter Laviolette is going to be doing anything about that, especially after Jacob Trouba has admitted that he hasn't been at the top of his game since returning from his injury. I also got to ask Peter Laviolette about the fact that the Rangers, despite winning the vast majority of their games as of late, they haven't been able to win games by more than one goal. All their games, actually, since the 5-2 win over the New York Islanders on March 17th, have either been a one-goal differential at the end of the game, they have gone to overtime shootout, or they have been more than a one-goal difference at the end, but only because they were empty net goals. So here's what Peter Laviolette had to say about that after the game.
A lot of close games for you guys as of late. Does it ever bother you that you guys haven't been able to blow out teams and get a little bit of a relaxing ending to the game?
I would love to blow out teams. It just doesn't happen on a regular basis. It's not playoff hockey either. And so the fact that we're scraping for wins, I think that's a good thing for us.
The Rangers should be able to win the President's Trophy, barring a bad loss. The President's Trophy is the trophy given to the best regular season team at the end of the season. It's going to be the team with the most points. The Rangers currently have the most points out of all teams in the league. They currently lead the league by 1 point over the Dallas Stars, but their best remaining opponent is the Philadelphia Flyers, who probably aren't a top 10 team in the NHL right now. The New York Rangers' next opponent will be the Detroit Red Wings, who they will play on Friday at 7. The Devils will play next against the Ottawa Senators. That'll be on Saturday at 7. With WFUV Sports, I'm Will Jane.